Jerry, what do you guys need to do differently to support Brian and to end the 29-year drought that you guys have between going to a Super Bowl?
Well, I think we, you always have to evaluate, where it didn't go right last year. And obviously we're also evaluating where it didn't go right, in terms of, this drought that people say we're in terms of a championship game or a Super Bowl. And, we just have to continue to make this roster better. It'll certainly be something that Jerry, myself, Will and his staff, and now Coach Shoddy and his staff, we'll sit down and take a look and see what we have to do better.
On the team and how you want to play, how much did that change at the start of the season when Michael left?
Yeah, I don't know if it changed that much. Obviously you have an all-pro pass rusher that wins really quick. That's certainly going to help any defense. If it's Micah or if it's Miles or whoever that might be, that impact player is always going to help. To a certain degree, in pass downs and other downs. But, again, you can't look back, right? It is what it is, and then you just focus on where you are.
Matt Eberflus currently embattled as the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, shit! Oh,
yeah.
shit!
You want me to do a better job as defensive coordinator? Don't trade the best defensive player in football a week and a half before the start of the season. It reminds me of what Anthony Weaver, the Dolphins defensive coordinator, said last week. We can't be piecemealing our defense together in August. You can't have massive changes to your roster in August, new guys in, old guys out. No. You got to be at your best then. You got to be getting ready for week one, and you got to keep your best players. And, of course, that prompted Micah Parsons, when he saw the tweet from Clarence Hill Jr. characterizing what Matt Eberflus had to say, up came the tweet with a string of 6 or 7 laugh till you cry emojis. I think that's what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 7.
8.
6 or 7,
About
maybe
8 of
8.
them.
I think it's 8. It's 8. 8 of them. Hey, they knew what they were doing, but remember what Jerry Jones said at the time. We got to stop the run. We got to stop the run. And the other layer here is that Matt Eberflus, by all appearances, is going to be fired after the season. At one point, Jerry Jones said, and I'm paraphrasing, it's not going to be a difficult decision. There's talk that the Cowboys are eyeing Brian Flores. I think the Vikings are aware, if not concerned, that that's who they're negotiating against, even though technically there should be no negotiations at this point. We know that tampering is rampant in the NFL. But, I think Eberflus is thinking on the way out, you know what, if you're going to fire me, I'm going to tell it like it is. You traded Michael Parsons. What the hell did you expect?
Yeah, he tried to. He tried to be slick with it, Mike. Did you notice that? Like, hey, you traded all pro and things have changed. Oh, but I take full responsibility, and it starts with me. Yeah, it starts with me, but I need to mention Micah Parsons just so you have the context. He is right. Look, he's going to be – I'll be stunned if he comes back because Jerry Jones has pretty much told us he's moving on in so many words. But there is something to be said for training camp. And we keep talking about how they're around they spend a lot of time in training camp. There are OTAs before training camp starts. So May, June, there's a lot of verbiage there's a lot of stuff that's being installed before we even get to the season. Mm-hmm. And so how can you say that's important and then turn around and trade Micah Parsons right before the season starts, and then in mid-season bring in Quentin Williams and Logan Wilson and all these guys and expect that it's going to be tight? It's not. So I think Eberflus has made his share of mistakes. You can't be last in all the categories they're last in. But even a really good Brian Flores, let's say Brian Flores, who's excellent. Brian Flores would struggle with the setup that Eberflus was given in Dallas. I think anybody would.
Yes.
Any good coordinator is just going to have a real problem with how they did things.
Parsons also.
I think I'm going to leave it right there because I don't mean any harm. I don't mean any harm. But wasn't that kind of dry? Wasn't that kind of dry? I mean, thank you, Captain Obvious, that having gotten rid of your best player a week before the season and then thinking I can supplement the defense in the middle of the season, and they're just going to go ahead and play, is fantasy football by an NFL team. I've never liked fantasy football. I've never liked. Who the hell likes fantasy football and thinks that it's actually real football? There's a reason they call it fantasy football, because it would be a dream. It's a fantasy. You can't do football that way. You can't. Listen, you need, I'll give you an example. In high school, generally speaking, you try and get that sophomore or that junior to be your starting quarterback so they'll have a couple of years to learn and get good. We not only figure we can just get anybody and plug him in, we can plug him in at any point. Case in point, Giovanni and Clowney. We decide, end of training camp, after we've done all of our OTAs, all of our mini camp, after we've done our 14 padded practices, hey, let's go get this guy. And we can plug him in. He's out of shape, fat and happy that he's gotten a job, but now he's got to learn the terminology. He's got to learn people's names. He got to learn where his damn locker is. And we think that's the way to build a freaking organization. It's not. The reason why, you want to know why this offense worked so good this year? Because they didn't start off from scratch. That there's familiarity. That Dak Prescott's had his center for 2 years. He knows how to snap the ball to Dak Prescott. His wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, he knows where he's going to be at and how he likes to get his ball. Jake Ferguson, he knows Dak. It wasn't all new guys that we're putting together. That's why there was cohesion on the offense. You ended up keeping a coach who was here working with those guys. There were very few changes other than George Pickens. You know, you had hoped that Tyler Guyton would have been there more, but pretty much, you know, with the exception of Tyler Booker, that was the only change. And when you can do that with the defense, and I'll give you the anti-Cowboys, which would be the Eagles, and you look at their front with Jalen Carter, with Jordan Davis and things, that there's cohesion there because they have a core group of guys that have been there working with Nick Fangio. Second year is even better. We don't do that. We are constantly changing with bargain basement players. Your Kenneth Murray's. That we literally, when we get good players, they're going to be too expensive to keep. But, I need to go through and just look at how much money is wasted on average guys. Now, people look and say, George Pickens, oh, man, you shouldn't be paying George Pickens. George Pickens will cost you too much money. Do you realize that we spent $5 million this year on paying for Brandon Cooks in dead money? That we spent $8.5 million on Michael Gallup in dead money? So you're telling me we spent $13 million for two guys that did absolutely positively nothing for you last year. But no, we can't pay a guy. We can't pay a guy who actually is here performing. He's going to be too expensive. And before we get too deep into saying, let me take care of my good buddies from Sleeper.
Sleeper is the #1 fantasy sports app. It pays to know sports. Pick more or less on top players. Your first pick is on us, so start winning now. Play in Texas, Georgia, Minnesota, and 27 more states. Pick anytime across all sports, pregame or live. Over 10 million players are already on Sleeper. Make your picks count. Score up to 1,000 times your cash. Join today. Get up to $100 credit using code JOBRO. Call your shot on Sleeper. Download now.
That's not whose name. Big country? Big country? Who's not whose name? Whose name? Whose name are we talking about? Mark, it all starts with the Joneses. Aha, Jess. Jess, we should be talking about Cowboys versus Giants. But yet we got all the drama in the world happening with the Dallas Cowboys. Let's see. Martin, $16 million off the cap in 26. Yes, and you're 100% right. Little Dallas Cowboy. Yeah, Zach Martin is $16 million in dead money next year. $16 million. Thomas Garrett, welcome. Alvin Riley, welcome. Lady Libra in the house. What's going on, Lady Libra? Jesse, of course. Jesse, I hope that the Cowboys mollywop you on Sunday. Nothing personal. We're just trying to run a business here. Holly Pierce. What's up, Holly? We've got Big Country. We got Chris May in the house. We got North of the Border. We got Thomas Garrett. What's up, Thomas? How are you doing? Jeff Lee. My name is Jeff. And let's see who else we got. Who else we got here? All right, we got Dan the Man. We got Dirty Sanchez. Not just that's a lifestyle here, okay? It's not it's a lifestyle with him. What's going on, Dirty? How are you doing? I hope everybody's having a good after New Year's Day and everything else, that you're not too hungover and that you're ready for a weekend, the last weekend of football. And we are where we usually are at this time of year, pissed off, mad, angry, and listening to the Joneses that talk about, all the bullshit that they do. So I've been a little busy with trying to get this house together. I've got probably about 3 or 4 more days of really heavy work to get it squared away. And then we're going to get back to business. So I appreciate you all bearing with me the way that you have. The Joneses. Listen, everybody. You can say Dak is whack. You can say that the players on the field have to perform. You can say that it's the coaches and things. But I have to ask you this. Who hires the coaches? Who hires the coaches? That's Jerry and Stephen Jones. Who makes the final say on the players on the roster? That's the Joneses. Who's the one that doesn't get the contracts done in time? That's the Joneses. Dak can only play with the people they put on the field. You can see, listen, you can say Dak sucks. I'm going to say, look what happened with George Pickens this year. George Pickens right now has about 400 yards more than any season he's had. His first time being a Pro Bowler. Did he throw the ball to himself? No. Good quarterback, good talent around him. It works. Brandon Cooks. How did Brandon Cooks do this year? Probably not real good, did he? Because he's past his time. Michael Gallup. He left here, went to the Raiders, retired, and then tried to come back with Washington. Couldn't get back out on the field. So we literally had a receiver who was crippled. Okay. Another one that was over the hill. Okay. And then we had, of course, Butterfingers, Noah Brown. Cowboys traded a 4th-round pick for Jonathan Mingo. Should really never be heard from again. Which is kind of like the James Washington, remember? The unicorn, because you never see him. And we have Jerry Jones always talking about wanting to stir shit up, right? Yeah, when it's quiet, I like to stir shit up. Well, you got a hornet's nest right now. You got everybody laughing at you. You got Micah Parsons. And here's where I have to say, Micah Parsons, I think, is still hurt. I think he is. And then I'll be real. I got a Micah Parsons figure right here that's signed by Micah Parsons to Jobu Sports. It cost me $175 for that autograph. Like a fool, I did it. I fattened his wallet when the Cowboys wouldn't. You don't come out, if you were happy about moving on from a relationship, you don't constantly go back on the one that you were on. You move on. He hasn't moved on. I don't know if he's not really as happy. I mean, I'm sure he's happy about being in the playoffs. I'm sure he's not happy about having the torn ACL. I'm sure he's happy about the play on the field, but it goes beyond just that because, yeah, there's the play on the field. We have opportunities to playoffs and things like that. But then there were Dallas. Now, I don't mean any disrespect for anybody who lives in Green Bay. But when you are a young man that's worth $188 million, there ain't that much to do in Green Bay. I'm keeping it real. They're really, especially when it's cold, there's really not a lot to do in Green Bay in comparison to Dallas. I'm just saying. In Dallas, you don't have to do anything to get publicity. You don't have to do anything. You got your guys, you got all kinds of stuff, strip clubs, you got, all kinds of entertainment and everything else that you can do. The media is always there and everything else. Now, he's created a media storm in Green Bay more than they ever had. But I think he really misses being a Dallas Cowboy. And he's lashing out. Lovely Linda in the house. What's up, Linda? How are you doing? A team with nothing to play for this weekend, so they're going to be sitting everybody for the Eagles game. Must be nice, Linda. As opposed to us that we have nothing to play for, and we're resting people because we don't want to get them hurt for next year. That's the difference between the Cowboys and the Eagles. And it sucks for us as Cowboy fans. So I think, Mean Metal, what's going on? How are you doing? Hi, Flip Shelton, what's going on? And Happy New Year's to everybody. I think Micah still really feels something about being in Dallas and his teammates. I just do. And he has lashed out. Mean Metal, I'll get to Troy Aikman in just a second. But here's the problem for the Cowboys. If you don't go into free agency, right, and get legitimate players, and you rely on the draft, we have this sometimes misnomer that, the Cowboys draft real well. The Cowboys have had some good drafts. I'm not going to lie. But they've had some bad ones too. 2020. Let's revisit this for a second. CeeDee Lamb drops to us at 17. Great pick. Great pick. You love it. Mean Metal, I will be doing games tomorrow. I'll be home tomorrow. I got to go varnish the floors in the morning, load up a truckload of wood from my mom, drive back to Northern Virginia, drop the wood off, pick up some wood to make some doors, and then I'll be live streaming the games tomorrow. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. It's the last weekend. I got to get every minute in that I can. Second round, Trayvon Diggs. 2 good years and 3 years of headaches. The Canadian bulldozer, Neville Gallimore, no longer with the team as well. 4th round pick, Reggie Robinson second. Cornerback, nothing burger. Tyler Biadasz, 4th round pick. We made a trade with the Eagles to move up to get him. He's in Washington the last couple of years. 5th round, Bradley Anai, defensive end. Boy, he did some great things for us, didn't he? Not. And the best bomb-ass pizza spot you've ever been to, Dianucci's. Ben Dianucci's. So from just 5 years ago, our draft, we have one guy there. One guy. One guy. You can do that if you go to free agency to go ahead and take care of the other pieces to it. Let's take a look here for a minute at the 21 draft class. and see how well we're doing. Micah Parsons was number 1. He's gone. Boss man fat, Kevin Joseph. He's gone. He's got a lawsuit where he killed somebody drunk driving. That's going on. Where he was playing for the USFL. Osa Indigozua. Aha, there we go. We got one. Chauncey Golston. Gone. Nashawn Wright. Playing really good in Chicago. And then we had linebackers like Jabril Cox. Okay. Pause. We had Josh Ball. He wasn't balling. We had Semi Fioco. Gone. Quentin Bohannon. Gone. We do still have Israel Mahanaku. And guard Matt Fornick. Gone. We drafted 11 guys and have 2 of them left from 4 years ago. Jesse. Mark, the draft is an if or a could be, but not certain-like. Okay, all I'm saying is here it is. In the last 5 years, 2 of your draft seasons, you had 3 guys stick on your roster. 3. That's it. In 23, let's take a look. Mozzie Smith, traded away. Luke Schoonmaker, leaving you wanting. Overshown, flashes, but has been injured twice. The deuce is loose. Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn. The great story because his dad worked here. And Jalen Brooks, gone. You see a pattern here? That's 3 players. I'm sorry, 4 players. Is that 4 players? 4 players. And most of them are just a role player. Schoonmaker? Overshow. That's it from 23. From 23. We are missing. We are missing huge. And you can't put that on the coach, can you? 24. Tyler Guyton. How much we gotten from Tyler Guyton? Not much. Marshawn Nealon, rest his soul. Shown flashes, but he's no longer with us. Cooper Beebe may be the best one of those 4 years, guys. Cooper Beebe. You want to know why we suck? We don't sign big-name free agents, and recently we haven't drafted well. Now, this year's draft, I think, is a little bit better. Donovan Easy looks pretty good, and Tyler Booker looks great, okay? We got some good pieces in there. Shamar James, he's got some potential and things. But for the most part, we've been lacking getting talent in the draft. We just have. Mark, we don't have Izzy anymore. Oh, that's right. Israel, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it's even worse than I thought. This is why we need to load up on free agents. Chris May, that's the problem, Dan. It's tiresome. And so the crazy thing is, Jerry Jones will tell you, oh, we're right there. Hey, we're right there. We are working hard here. Now, I'm sitting here today. I was sanding the floors and getting that all together. And I'm listening to all of the stuff that's going on. And you hear the Micah situation where Micah's pissed off, that he's been trashed in the media. Of course, Micah had nothing to do with You know, it was Jerry Jones that made him take the nap on the training table. Jerry, I don't know why you made Micah Parsons. That was just wrong. You should have known how the optics would look on that one. Jerry, shame on you. Shame on you, Jerry. Shame on you. Okay? You got Diggs, who looked like he was going to cry in Green Bay. Right? In that situation. You got Dez chiming in and basically saying, yeah, they some bullshit. You know, they treated me the wrong way. They held on to me for too long instead of letting me go. You know, they paid me all that money, and then I got hurt, and then, you know. So you got now bad feelings with Dez Bryant. You've got Troy Aikman being a consultant for GM with the Miami Dolphins. You got Matt Eberflus basically saying, well, you know, if you read between the lines of what Matt Eberflus said, he's basically saying Jerry Jones bent me over and didn't use any Vaseline because he got rid of the best player we had on defense, and I had basically a room full of stiffs, but I figured I can make something with Micah Parsons, and I can move them all around. And a week before the season starts, after we'd have made all the game plans and everything else, you get rid of him, and now you get me a bunch of interior defensive linemen. Now you get me a whole bunch of interior. I don't know what to do with this. You've hamstrung me. That, and I got a cornerback who's not a zone guy who's coming back on one leg. You get rid of my best player. I got a cornerback who's on leg. I got two safeties that aren't worth dog shit right now. Linebackers, you get me this stiff Kenneth Murray to try and plug in here. And what's his name? The other one that they sold us on being Brian Urlacher from the Bears. I can't do much with this on the way out the door. What do you expect me to do with this? That would be my take as well. Hey, you want to trash me and tell me I'm not worth shit? Okay, I wasn't great, but you didn't give me exactly a winning hand. This is like playing spades, and you got one spade, and it's the three of spades. Pfft, I got nothing. Jack Sanborn. Yeah, sandbag. He played like he had sandbags in his pack. Micah isn't a Cowboy anymore, so we don't care about anything that Micah has to say about these days, Mark. Yes, Roosevelt, I understand, and I agree with that. But here's where you have to question about it. If you're George Pickens right now, and you've just had the season of your career, and you have the opportunity to really get paid. I mean, really, you got David Mulligetta as an agent. Oh, you got that guy. Oh, shit. And I'm looking at what happened with Micah, who's one of the best players in the NFL. I'm hearing about what happened to a past one in Dez Bryant. I'm looking at a defensive coordinator who's literally throwing the owner under the bus. And I got an owner who says, I like to stir shit up. I know money is the key to end of your woes, your ups, your downs, and your highs and your lows. But do you want to sign a contract with this shit? And this is where I don't think people understand when players look to get max contracts from the Cowboys and why they should. Because it's not about winning a Super Bowl with the Cowboys. It's not about winning a Super Bowl. It's about the drama. So, Logan Motorsports, what's going on? The work is going on good, man. The house is getting there. I got the first coat of varnish on the floors today. I'll get second coat on tomorrow, so it'll be really good. And then I can take the weekend off after that. Well, not exactly. I got to build the cabinet doors, but you understand what I'm saying. If I can't win a Super Bowl, then I'm going to make generational wealth. You're going to pay me every nickel that I want because, I forgot about Tyler Smith. He's kind of pissed off that he's playing left tackle. I'd kind of say I'd be a little upset too because, like you said, I trained to be a left guard. I'm a left guard, Pro Bowl left guard. My contract pays me like I'm a left guard. I get to go off second level and take on linebackers. Now you want me to take on the best player they have on the blind side of the quarterback? The edge rusher? You want to put me on an island? You want to make me do more work? I'm not feeling that. Not unless you give me a raise. So there's that too, added to the mix. So we got all this dysfunction, and we got a game against Jess. You're right, Jess. You can't fix stupid. But you know what, Jess? You know what the sad thing is? With all of this dysfunction that we have, as crazy as it is, we're still miles ahead of your sorry-ass team. We're already ahead of your sorry-ass team. So there's that. So I don't know. We got Dak, sucks, needs a first-round quarterback on a rookie contract. Okay. I hear you a little, Dallas Cowboy. So having the NFL leading offense is a sucky quarterback? Okay. My opinion on the Packers, they really miss Micah Parsons on defense, and they're a good team. They're a good team. So we're doing this a little early because we're kind of taking out the trash early with players that we're getting rid of. Win this game, Cowboys, on Sunday. You're in the playoffs. Let's go. Couch feeling. Y'all got all your playoff tickets. Okay. Okay. Yes, I hear you, Ken. Great. Thank you. Yes, we're sitting on the couch. Okay. I'm curious, though. For all those that are saying we're sitting on the couch watching the playoffs, where do y'all sit? I'm asking for a friend. Where do y'all sit? Y'all stand up and watch the playoffs? I just want to know. If we're the only ones on the couch and you're in the playoffs, where do you sit? All right. So, the Cowboys are in the process of taking out the trash. They got step number 1. Trayvon Diggs, gone. The next piece of garbage that they need to take out is Matt Eberflus. Or Matt Eberpuss, or whatever you want to call him. It has been, I get it, Matt. You were dealt a bad hand coming here with the Cowboys. But does anybody else notice? When you look at him, does he look like he's lost a lot of weight? I hope he's okay. I'm not trying to be funny or anything on here. It may be the stress of the Cowboys, but he looks like he's lost weight, like sickly loss of weight. You know what I mean? He's really working in the back cave here the whole time. Smash like. Okay. Shout out to Help Miranda in the house. What's up, Rhonda? Matt Elberfuss, a.k.a. Elberfudd. He's got to go. If Jerry Jones somehow decides to keep Matt Eberflus, oh my God. There's no way he can keep him after all the stuff that's happened. Dirty Sanchez, I can see being dealt a bad hand, but I don't understand how he can figure out something that works during the game, then completely go away from it and lose. Yeah, you know what? And not only that, put a guy in your game plan and then forget that you put him in your game plan. How's that happen? Explain that one to me. I don't understand that one. We just suck. We literally just plain suck. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There is no redeeming quality on this defense. The Cowboys made the call to bring in Matt Eberflus. The Cowboys made the call to bring in guys like Kenneth Murray. Cowboys made the call to get rid of Micah Parsons. They got to do better. They also need to look and say, the time is up for Terrence Steele. You know what? Don't cry for me, Argentina. Because Terrence Steele came in as an undrafted rookie free agent during COVID. And he got paid. He had an $85 million contract. Good run blocker. Sucks at pass blocking. He has got to go. He is not worth $18 million on our cap this year. Just is not. Got to go. Him, Matt Eberflus, and of course, we already got rid of Diggs. Diggs, mind you, who says he still thinks he's the best out there, and he's going to turn it around. And he's going to be ready to play on Sunday. Yeah, okay. Kenneth Murray, I still want to know why this mother humper has still been playing. They have literally shit on us with Kenneth Murray. Oh, we like his physicality. You mean when he runs out of bounds? You mean when he runs in the wrong hole? When he overruns the play? He's so physical. That mother humper has got to go. Got to go. And Malik Hooker, another one of those free agent signings that the Cowboys looked for a bargain because when they signed him, was him coming back from either, I think, Achilles tear. He played pretty good for a couple of years, but his time has passed. And Donovan Wilson, definitely, he's had some good times. He's really not that good anymore. He's got to go. Got to go. There's other changes, like I'd say Jerry and Stephen Jones as president and GM got to go, but they ain't going to go anywhere. The next thing you have to say is Brian Schottenheimer. Is he the guy to run this situation? Because right now, Brian Schottenheimer has been dealt a shit sandwich. You got a crappy defense. You've got an aging quarterback. You've got a lot of needs. You've got 2 first-round picks, which are great, but no second or third-round ones. Although that might not be the worst thing since we pointed out we haven't done shit with second and third-round picks over the last 5 years. So there's that. I want to go to and I want to listen to Shotty Shots for a few minutes because he seems to be Mr. Optimistic.
Coach of your Dallas Cowboys, Broughton Schottenheimer. It's brought to you by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. And Shotty, Will Chambers here. It's great to meet you. I'm in for Sean. I know that shocks you to no end.
Yeah, hey, listen, there's no better way to start the new year than to do this show with guys I actually like, Will. And you and Bobby are clearly my 2 favorites on the show, and can't wait to talk a little bit of ball with you guys.
We're just going through the clips. I mean, what a great year it's been. And I, as a part of the station, but certainly as a big part of the audience, have enjoyed listening to you guys throughout the season. And really, just in general, I want to ask you, in looking over your career and how long you were an offensive coordinator through the years, then some time off, you're back, some time off. And when you were hired, I don't think it's any surprise that to you to hear that it was a surprise for a lot of people when the Dallas Cowboys have a head coaching position that's open. All the names that you hear from the Adam Schefters of the world, of these big name coaches, and all of a sudden, wow, it's Brian Schottenheimer. What do you think about your career leading up to it, and how different are you of a coach now as to where you were back when your name was preeminent among those coaching searches?
Yeah, I think it's like life, Will. I mean, honestly, like when I first broke into coaching, I wanted to go and just learn from different people. So what I kind of did was I bounced around, man. I mean, my first job ever was with Dick Vermeil in St. Louis. I was kind of like a offensive assistant. I used to have to sit on the floor in meetings and listen to Dick Vermeil and Jim Hanifin and Bud Carson was our defensive coordinator. And, I learned so much about football. Then I spent a year in Kansas City with my dad. And then I went to Syracuse to learn, to get a chance to actually coach a position. I coached receivers and was the passing game coordinator there. And then I made a decision I wanted to learn more about the run game. So I go to USC out with Paul Hackett, and I learned tight ends, and I coached the tight ends because I wanted to learn the run game. And I just think, then I got an opportunity to coach quarterbacks, and that was something that I loved and I was passionate about. I played quarterback, and when I got my first coordinator job, things were very, very good, and we were rolling, and we were having a lot of success. And first year, big turnaround. We go to the playoffs with the Jets, and we were one of the best offenses in the league. And you start getting interviews and stuff, and then things like in life, man, things turn, and then you're like, okay, well, you decide after 6 years in New York, hey, I'm gonna do something different. It was time for a change. You go to St. Louis. You're coaching Sam Bradford, and Sam's getting hurt every year, and you're like, man, well, this isn't what I signed up for, and and then you just keep going, man. And I think when I came to Dallas as a consultant, I really did it because I wanted to be in a building because I love coaching, I love being around people. There were some great people that I'm very, very close to, Dan Quinn, Mike McCarthy, people like that, certainly guys I've gotten to know. And I've always been the same guy every day, man. And that's kind of what motivates me. And whether you're the hottest name as a 32-year-old, as a coordinator of the New York Jets, and you're turning down jobs and things like that, or whether you're coaching quarterbacks in Jacksonville and you're working for Urban Meyer and it's not going great, then the next year, like, what are you going to do? You make decisions. But at the end of the day, man, I think good coaches are good coaches, but it's more than that. When you sit in a position as a head coach, it's not just about X's and O's. Hell, I wish I did more X's and O's. This is funny. I wish I could talk more ball. But at the end of the day, man, there's so many things where it comes down to leadership and holding people accountable and work ethic and connection and culture and things like that. And I think that's one of the things that sometimes in life and in the world, people get caught up in names and things like that and not, hey, who's really qualified for the job and why?
Yeah, where do you think that it's when the narratives around coaching and coaching searches is mostly wrong or maybe just misanalyzed when it comes to assessing coaches for jobs or, how well or how poorly they do one?
Yeah, well, I think the media is so powerful, and that's our life, and that's great. And, we wouldn't be doing this show if it wasn't such a powerful thing and people weren't interested in what we had to discuss and talk about. Social media obviously has taken over. So what I would say to you with that is, like, again, I think that the media side of this is awesome, and there's a lot of really great coaches that do a really great job that get some incredible recognition because of the fact that their teams are putting up great numbers or keeping people out of the end zone on defense and things like that. But I do think that there's another layer to this, and it's the guys like myself, and I use myself just because you asked the question, that have been a long time NFL coaches doing it at a high level, some good years, some bad years, but at the end of the day, they've got special traits that people like to follow, and they know how to create chemistry and things like that. And I think those are the ones that, to me, are harder to find But when you find a good one, I think it gives you a real chance. And what benefited me certainly was being in the building as a consultant. I tell people all the time, I'm like, just be the same guy every day, but do your job to the best of your ability every day, and people will find you. I mean, I'm a consultant, and I'm the coordinator. I'm not even calling the plays, and then a couple years later, I'm sitting in this amazing chair.
Brian Schottenheimer joining us here on 105 Through the Fan. Schotty, you talk about it there, the names and the reputations that exist for coaches across the league. And I know you went into your process a little bit before the season about how you developed some of the names that you wanted to put on your coaching staff. So, as the season's coming to an end and, inevitably guys are going to get other jobs, or maybe somebody's going to get a promotion somewhere else, and you're going to end up
somebody's going to get fired.
In all likelihood.
How about that?
Does that process start over for you again to cultivate names, or is that something that you work to keep a running tab on of just like, hey, I got to have some names in my head just in the event that we're without a coach at this position?
Yeah, it's a little bit like personnel. How we say that personnel is always 24/7, 365. I mean, you never lose sight of okay, who are the top coaches in certain positions. You always have a depth chart. You always have a list of names where, hey, if I lose so-and-so and, hey, they come and take this coach from me or whatever, you've always got a list of names. But I enjoy the process and I think you have to take your time to go through the process. What you don't want to do is, just because I have a list of, let's say you lose a tight end coach or a
defensive coordinator.
You've got a list of coaches, but I enjoy the process, and I think it's important to go through the process to make sure you don't just get a good coach, you get a good leader, a good man, a good father, a guy that's going to fit into your culture, along with a guy that can teach fundamentals and scheme. And hey, here's how you release, or here's how you block a 9 technique on power, or here's how you reroute and cover 2. All those things go into it, because when you add a member to your staff, you're really adding a member to your family, and you're bringing them into what you're trying to develop, which is one of the greatest cultures in professional sports. That's hopefully becoming a championship team here next year, and that's something that takes a lot of time and sacrifice to get right.
You've gotten plenty of questions the last couple of weeks about Joe Milton, somebody you talked about a lot over the summer, and how he was somebody who needed more time on task and things throughout training camp, and that's why you guys were trying to give that to him. But I'm curious, there's some parallels, I think, in terms of capital that was given up and the position that they're in behind an established quarterback between the situation with Trey Lance and now the situation with Joe Milton. Did you learn anything or take anything from the experience with how you guys handled Trey Lance and are able to apply it or change it up differently with Joe Milton?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you look at each situation, they're a little bit different. Like they both have attributes that I think are really, really incredible. I'll speak more to Joe just because Joe's a guy that's currently on our roster, and
he's here.
Just his arm talent is. Everybody wants to talk about the velocity, and how far he can throw it. But when you just talk about a guy like Joe Milton, I mean, you talk about the accuracy and the ability to make all the throws and off-platform throws, and he is just incredibly.
Okay, so yes, Joe Milton. Joe Milton is just incredible. We've seen him just do wonderful things out there on the field. Momo, I know you're not talking about – how do you think that you got the right to talk about anybody's team that got swept by us? Got swept, bro. Not even close. My team sucks, but it beats your team. So what does that make your team, bro? Huh? I didn't hear you. Huh? Damn Momo. What's up, Benny? How are you doing? Jerry never listens to the fans. They've been said. Yes. Okay, Momo. Of course they don't. Okay? Understand. Listen to me. People will say, why are you a Cowboy fan? Well, it's like a relationship. There are some things you have to put up with in a relationship. Now, let me be clear here, and I mean no disrespect to any of the lovely ladies that are out there. No disrespect. But listen, they're all batshit crazy. And you choose your battles of ones that you will fight. Okay? Trust me when I say that. Okay? We love y'all, but we don't necessarily love everything about you. And you have to understand, there's a lot of things that my wife cannot stand about me. Oh, definitely. Definitely. But you're in that relationship because you love that person, even if they piss you the fuck off. Okay? And I look up here and I see Drew Pearson, not once but twice, autograph, right? I see my boy Dak right there. I see Bob Lilly. I see Randy White, the Manster and stuff up there. You know, I see Tom Landry. Those are the things that I love. Rhonda, you know you Rhonda, I know you batshit crazy. I know, but see, you take the good with the bad, girl. No disrespect, but you got to understand, you know, you love that sweetness, that. Mark, your mascot should be quicksand. Oh my God. I asked hubby, he said, I'm batshit crazy, but he still, see? And you can ask I guarantee you ask Jess right now, is your wife batshit crazy? Yeah, she batshit crazy. I love her to death, but she batshit crazy. Yeah, batshit crazy. But it's all part of the relationship. If you had everything perfect in a relationship, you also batshit crazy. It's like, what's he setting me up for? Why is this so damn perfect? There's something going on. He must be like a spy or something or other. Y'all will come up with some crazy shit to say why it's perfect. Because you batshit crazy. Yeah, yes, you are. Yes, you are. No disrespect, but it's the truth. Can we get likes up, people? Aren't we entertained?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Dirty Six. Dirty, she's running around butt naked, driving her man crazy. That's why you're not seeing her. She's on the other channel. Bessa, Mark, I'm a Cowboys fan with Washington, and Jaden got to the NFC Championship. I wish Dak would have gotten us to one by now. Bessa, I hear you. I hear you on that one too. He did everything he could this year. If we had had some kind of defense, we might have had a chance. But you can go up the poll to Jerry Jones and what they did as far as this defense would, and the way they've hamstrung this team. You have to look at this and say, that wasn't Shoddy's first pick. And I hope that Shoddy gets the chance to go ahead and say, you know, if I'm going to go down with the ship, let me at least do it my way. We're all messed up, Mark. Cowboy fans been crying rivers for 30 years. It's flooding in those Cowboy streets. And Momo, what's been happening in yours? Momo, you too. Okay. I hate to do this to y'all. I really hate to do this. But there's two things we can count on. Jerry Jones will gaslight you and tell you bullshit and tell you what you want to hear. He'll be the one who's hat in hand. You know, I've been a terrible GM, and I'm the one to blame here, and we're going to work harder and everything else, and we're going to go all in, and it's bullshit. It's just bullshit. You may not like Stephen Jones. You know, my name's Stephen Jones, and I'm just happy that I have a job, because if it weren't for my dad owning the Dallas Cowboys, I don't think I'd have a job in chemical engineering, because, you know, the only reason why I got that degree was because my dad had a whole bunch of money and he bought a gymnasium. And so they said, well, we'll take you on in here and we'll give you a degree. And I don't know what the hell is a chemical. So when I got done with that, you know, I pulled my pants up a little bit there and got my glasses on. And my dad said, okay, you're going to be a president of operations. I said, great, Dad. What's that going to be? just don't touch a damn thing. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. Oh, well, I can do that there, Dad. Yeah, there's that story about me. You remember me, Dad, when I was supposed to be out working and I had a pool party at the house and you came in there and then you took me to Hardee's to get a job? Yeah, that was you kind of scared me there because I thought I was going to be flipping burgers. And when I got done with college, until you bought the Cowboys, I thought I might have to go flip them burgers with a chemical degree. At least Stephen Jones will tell you like it is. He doesn't usually sugarcoat it. And today he was telling us basically we got to do more on the defense. Oh, shit! Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Sir.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning,
Man, we've
guys.
talked
Hope you had a good Christmas.
Yeah, I hope you had a good Christmas as well. I feel like we all know kind of the lore of the Jones cabin after Thanksgiving. Is there a big family post-Christmas tradition?
No, not really. There's more of a Christmas tradition, which is at my parents' house, and we do that, and do that usually a couple days beforehand and around ball games. But it's a great time, and between my brother, sister, and I and our children, we get to hang out with Gene and Jerry, and we have a really festive afternoon and evening.
We talked to Jerry leading into that Christmas game, and I'm sure this is the hope for you, the hope for the league. Do you feel like Christmas football can become as entrenched in our society as Thanksgiving football is?
Absolutely. I think people are relaxed. I think they're looking for entertainment. I think they're looking, to get a lot of things off their mind and just enjoy their families. And I think sport and football certainly has a way to do that, a way about it that people really embrace it. They certainly have shown they do it at Thanksgiving, and I think we can grow this into something very special.
Dak has talked a whole lot about closing the season with pride and reaching 500 for the season. What would getting that final win and finishing at 500 mean to you and to the organization?
Yeah, I think it's obviously something we've got our eye on the ball on. I mean, we're, disappointed we're in this position. We really, felt like after that 3-game run during Thanksgiving that we were getting back in it and had a shot, but we didn't play our best ball there for, starting with Detroit. But, feel like we're getting our hands around it again, and certainly, it would be something we could build off of in the off season is finish strong. And, we just feel like we got a lot of pieces in place between, obviously the offense had a great year, and we still got a lot of work to do on defense. It just never quite came around to the level that we need it to be.
Came around.
To be competing for a championship. And that's where we have to be. But at the same time, we do think we put a lot of pieces, on that defensive side of the ball. Certainly we've fired up about, having 2 number 1 picks going into the off season, and, just feel like we're really heading into a good direction with Shotty and his staff and this football team. And it'd be great to finish strong.
And Stephen, sticking with those picks that you mentioned, you and the front office members mentioned around the draft season that you usually finish with less than 20 or so first-round grades, somewhere like 16 to 17 on a good year. And there's a chance you could be picking outside of that talent window. What would you say to people that are more concerned about picking within that talent window versus finishing the year strong?
Yeah, I just think, finishing and winning is so important. And, I still think we're going to be right there where there's some, and, our 1-2-0 grades are really a lot of them are just right borderline first round grades. And there's been a lot of great players come out of those 1-2-0s. And we just feel like there's going to be similar type players once you get into where we're probably going to be picking, which is, probably somewhere between 11 and 21 if you count Green Bay's pick, and just think there's going to be some good football players there.
Fair to assume we all really want Green Bay to lose in the first round of the playoffs, though, right?
I hate to root against people, but yes, they would understand why we're rooting against them. And we want our picks. Obviously, their pick.
Yeah, we want our picks to be as high as possible. And Rhonda, your device is still logged in?
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Hey, Tay Cowboys, what's up? Tay, not Taco Cowboys. Momo, are you confused? You're supposed to be hating on the Eagles this week. Yeah, they might have a chance because the Eagles are basically going to be resting their players. Dan, didn't I tell you? So you putting me in timeout. What are you talking about you being in timeout? Ain't nobody put you in timeout, Momo. So Sunday, we do have our season finale for another disappointing season. I hope we can get a win just because I want to be able to say that we were 5-1 in our division, that my quarterback did some good things and got out healthy, and maybe go into the offseason with a little momentum. I know it's only beating Washington and beating the Giants, but it's beating Washington and the Giants at least. At least we don't have to hear shit from – well, no, we will be hearing shit from Momo because that's what he does, Mr. 7-0. Anyway, I got to get out of here, good people. Got to get up early in the morning and put another coat of varnish on so I can get up the road. And we will be live streaming tomorrow. We'll open up the chat to channel members for the game tomorrow, both of them. And we can all just kind of console each other for our sorrows of another wasted, lost season by the Cowboys. All right, good people. You ain't got to go home, but we're turning out the lights.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.